Hestia's visit to the big city and getting more involved with the Tremere, more specifically involved with the Tremere, you all have uncovered the myriad of plots circling in and around the blood trade. You observe and been privy to the myriad of human organizations that are involved in nebulously moral activities, one of which Dizzy directly put down, but also knowing that Theus, the organization, has offices on most of the college campuses, following through on the best, most tried and true propaganda campaign possible, getting them while they're young. It also has a two-pronged attack because it mendicates towards the poor, takes care of those who have reached the end of their ropes, those who have addictive personalities and addictive mentalities and who have lost their way. It helps people who have returned from war deal with their soldiers' heart. It is pulling all of these people who, for lack of a better word, either don't have a path forward or have lost their path, and creates in them loyalty of such a level that slowly works them through their company, through their various subsidiaries, until they are usable in one shape, fashion, or form. You all have also been privy to the fact that the shelter is not the only power when it comes to taking care of the homeless, the downtrodden, and the forgotten. There are, by what you've all experienced, 3 different factions: the shelter, One-Eyed King, and Naomi, who are all circling around the homeless community. Then you add in the fact that Wanika has his associates, forces, touchstones, and resources involved in that community to explain his frustration, his ability, his resources, his kingdom, his domain of the homeless is being pulled in 3 different directions. Then you have the fact that the Nosferatu have been keeping tabs on several different coteries. To what ends is anyone's business. So far, for the shelter, they have all been kind. They've all been helpful in some shape, fashion, or form, even if it is just providing an additional body so you all can escape the maze beneath the succubus, the maze that leads into the shadow realm, the maze that leads into the umbra. You also have been made aware that the Castiglione and Tories have been operating in and around the Rogers Park area, not just since Lucia was, knee-high to a bullfrog, but have been collecting buildings or finding a way to have buildings gifted to them or signed over to them, various places around the city. The fact that Crites is playing some sort of game that even he's not completely aware of, because as far as into talking about Portia, the number of times that she's survived his class, but as officially, you all are the only class that has survived his re-education. And then there's the Tremere of the city grasping power. And that's not counting all of the myriad smaller plot threads that tie into one shape, fashion, or form of the very near to the surface supernatural wars and battles are taking place throughout the city, through the very real bullet-infested criminal wars that are taking place, the battle for the actual blood trade that is taking place. And though it has been pushed to the extreme back burner, just within your own domain, just within Rogers Park, the very real gang wars that are taking place. So yeah, there's a lot that you guys have touched on, dived into, or skimmed across the surface of that is still percolating on the myriad of back burners you guys have. At this point, you probably have like 6 pots stacked on each other on the back burner, but these are all things that the coterie has experienced and has learned some detail of, whether they put it together or not. But yeah, so That's the happy news. Because we are in the inaugural episode of our 10th season. I want to thank you guys. It really has been a very, very fun ride. There's been lots of ups, lots of downs, lots of I can't believe that's happened. It is no secret that I am the biggest fan of your efforts and the time that we spend. And I want to thank you guys for everything that we've gone through, everything we've explored, and looking forward to what season 10 holds in store for us. With my thanks extended, I'd like to say that this is officially Soup City Sins Season 10 premiere episode, The Bond That Links. Now, we've already recapped a little bit of what the coterie as a whole has been through. When we last left our coterie, when we last left the shelter, they had survived yet again the fires of political machinations. They had once again added to their infamy and fame amongst the most notable kindred of the city. And unfortunately, a factor that had not been considered, and willing to go to the extremes of outright torture to assure their continued existence. There are some doors you can't close. There are some light bulbs you can't unscrew. There are some bells that will never be unrung. And knowing just how far each member has been willing to go to not protect themselves, but the coterie as a whole. Willing to sacrifice themselves, willing to lay across the wire, to body the grenade, willing to stand in front of the firing for the other members of the shelter. We pick up a week later. Several things have happened, but instead of me highlighting and outlining some of the many factors that have taken place, because time waits for no kindred, we'll start with you all describing what has been accomplished over the course of this last week. We'll begin in alphabetical order. Dizzy, you're up.
I imagine that Dizzy has spent a good part of the last week hunting and feeding, since she had a massive amount of damage she had to heal, which takes a massive amount of blood. Other than that, she's probably just been further embroiling herself into the area of Loyola, the part of their domain there. And also, she needs to start looking into who is messing with her brother.
Well, that's the funny thing. The trail doesn't go cold, but there have been a series of fires throughout the city. Now, a fire in Chicago is as commonplace as the leaves turning colors at the end of September, throughout September. It's a natural occurrence. Most of the city is far older than people expect, but fire is no new thing to the city as a whole. So one or two fires in a month, big fires, don't stand out. There's nothing remarkable about them. However, in the push and diving into the information that was available to her, there's no way that Dizzy would not begin to see a correlation between every site that she can pinpoint where there may have been a server or a cell phone farm or a data center, an off-the-book data center, of course, has been a fire. One after the other, after the other, after the other. And while coincidence is not a real, actual thing, it is the human mind's order seeking for a pattern to make sense of it all. Dizzy sees it as one hell of a coincidence.
Well, we'll probably just dive deeper into that because at some point we need to get one step ahead instead of one step behind on these fires, I guess.
Excellent. And Hestia, it has been a week since we last left Hestia and the coterie here in the city. What have they spent their time outside of their meeting with Mir at the Grand Chantry doing?
The first thing would probably be starting to teach Lucio Auspex. The second would be to be helping Dizzy with any information she might have towards her brother's place and Walter, and trying to narrow that all down. And the last thing that she really wanted to get done, she's gonna take one night to kind of herself and go up to the house and spend the night there, kind of writing things and putting things back in place and repairing as much as she can by herself before coming back to the city the next night.
Okay. And Lucio, in the week since torturing Sheen, what has Lucio been involving himself in?
I think his number one priority is the investigations that were placed on him, namely the blackmailers that Eddie was related to, trying to find that breach and contain it, essentially. Number two is, well, I think number two would be accepting the tutoring from Hestia and Auspex. Number three would be his finding a new haven and purchasing a new house, basically. Because after hearing that Vivi, a former SI agent, was so easily able to stalk Lucio and Arsenio, he has come to the conclusion that it is absolutely, positively the worst idea to continue living there.
That is a sound tactical bit of decision making. Doing so is far easier during the daylight hours. Fortunately, that brings with it its own inherent risk. In the course of securing the location, the building formerly that was a bank and was held by an Ethiopian firm, which is only a few blocks from Djibouti. Would Lucio seek to involve just Arsen, or would he work in Faye and Stella as well?
He would ask them if they would like to stay there in place of the apartment, considering how dangerous the apartment has become. He will not force them, but if they don't accept, then he will at least try and help them find a new place that is not that apartment, because they absolutely under no circumstance can go back there unless they get, number one, possessed, and number two, manipulated into something even worse than they've already gotten themselves into.
Excellent. Well, we have our first.
I was gonna say that last part is the quiet part. He's not gonna actually mention anything about possessions to them.
That being the case, we get our first roll of the evening. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and roll your charisma and persuasion with a +1? And while that roll is happening, Melinda, it has been a week since you watched and took part in the torturing of a hound. There has, of course, been a small meeting with the Tremere, which have brought the warlocks from near and dear to the city, which you were privy to, and there are several adventures shortly thereafter. But it has been a week since watching a member of the tower's law enforcement team be tortured by you all and laid low. What has Melinda been up to in the course of the week?
Melinda has been doing has been like alternating between like spending her time at the shelter and no.
Mm-hmm. We can still hear you.
Yeah.
Were there any projects that Melinda was working? Melinda, did we lose you? Okay, we seem to be having some technical difficulties. We'll circle back around. Basically, over the course of the last week, the shelter has done their best to get back to a semblance of normal, to heal many wounds, to beat the bushes and attempt to move forward, to get ahead of one or more of the many forces aligned against them. Not only specifically them as the shelter, but also them as the hounds. They are, as far as anyone else is concerned, representatives of the will of the Primogen and the city government at large. That is not an easy burden to carry, especially as much as they do about themselves. There's a lot of circular logic and mental dissonance that has to be utilized. Because Shane was a screw, and it's quite obvious why. It was the old razzle-dazzle Kansas City shuffle, get everyone left, and he was there keeping tabs on the other hounds. He was there ensuring they did their job, or at least he wasn't. He was funneling and had been funneling information back to the wolf pack, the Archons that patrol from North Wisconsin, Michigan, all the way down Orland. They were the roving wolf, the Camarilla as a whole, not just Chicago. In the most recent years, they've all but targeted Chicago as their headquarters, their stomping grounds, the place where they return to. But, as is often the case, people who take their jobs too seriously, where their jobs become their avocation, there was a sense of distrust that anyone and everyone was far less loyal and upstanding than themselves. And that distrust, that doubt as to the validity of everyone else's loyalty and drive put Shing in the most unenviable position, stuck between rock and hard. And so, as Lucio barely convinces his Fae to move to a new haven, which is a few blocks from Djibouti and a few blocks from the St. Jerome's Parish, nearly smack dab in the middle of the domain, as Dizzy settles more complete into her personal domain at Loyola and follows up on the clues left, the breadcrumb trail of that pernicious evil of blackmailers whose pressure placed Dale in the hospital. And as Hestia writes her mental equilibrium, and for the time in several months has a semblance of balance to work from, instead of running behind each ambulance, each fire truck, running behind. A few years later, she decided to step away. With the realization of the restructuring of the premiere, with the very detailed and aggressive questioning utilized to get Shane's confession, with the realization that her most hated of fellow warlocks was actually a to the city. It's a hard pill to swallow. All the same, with Melinda moving back and forth between Grand Chantry and the shelter, getting acclimated to Chicago, pursuing their own reasons for having children in Chicago, there is a polite request for Mama Wilder of the shelter, of the hounds. And that comes with all the very real fact that Mama Wilder's understood and respected domain falls within the boundary of the shelter. So writing back at the table, is there anything you all would like to discuss with each other before they arrives?
Oh, has anyone had any luck with blackmailers, perchance? Sorry, didn't anyone hear me?
Yeah, I heard you.
Yep, I heard you.
Okay, just making sure.
Dizzy's kind of just unusually quiet, just kind of looks at you and shrugs.
I'll take that as a maybe.
Well, the problem is, we only had that one place, and Walter's mad at me still, so I haven't been able to track him down and ask him anything else.
Bill?
It led us.
It's been a week.
Yeah, I made fun of his former job, so he's a pirate, and he took very much pride in being a pirate, and...
Well, wait. He was a pirate?
Uh-huh.
As in an actual, like, eye patch, parrot on his shoulder, Captain Hook pirate?
See, that's what I said, but no, he's like, we were privateers, blah-de-blah-de, brave men, some other more bullshit, Captain Plodge, all that stuff.
Huh. Guess people that old do have all kinds of interesting stories. But I thought you said he'd be over it in a couple days. It's been a little long.
I don't know. I think maybe it was a little bit that he had a little bit of a crush on me, and I ruined that by making fun of him. So there's a little bit of pride involved. Sure.
Well, we could always pursue the lead on our own.
Yeah, basically, because what it was him having put his accountings with the firm, and then them using those accountings at the firm to blackmail him and others. So technically, he was a victim too.
Yeah, I need to follow up on that. I'm sorry.
I'll do my best to help you with it. I want to get to the bottom of this as well.
Now, are you all meeting in your meeting room, or are you waiting in the shelter proper for Mama Walden?
Lucio would probably follow Hestia's lead on that one.
Yeah, I'd have no idea.
Okay.
Well, yeah. But yeah, what Melinda was doing is she was helping out at the shelter, and she was also finding a more permanent haven for herself.
You should have joined Lucio on that. We could have gone halvesies on a bank.
I think she was going with Lucio because she knows Lucio is discreet, so she probably would have gone with him.
Oh. I was just making a joke. You're being serious.
I think she actually would have. Like,
well then.
Like, he's useful to have around.
Well, if that is what you are doing, and, rooming and having roommates, and it being the family house, the Lucio's blood and adoptive sister.
Well, I don't think she'd like room with him, but I think she would, make sure to find a haven nearby. Like we live in the same, neighborhood, streets kind of thing.
Okay.
If you want, we could also say that while Melinda's still searching, Lucio will lend at least a few rooms in the apartment. It is pretty big. The only stipulation is that it will not be the same room as Stella and Faye.
Melinda's would be very confused, obviously.
But why not? Bunk bed with a rollout. You guys can, do sleepovers. All the same. As everyone discusses and prepares and emotes, I'm all day around. Now, normally, in the previous few months, in the time before everything that shook loose, Zuli will stop by about once a month, closed for the homeless of the shelter. Now, while it hasn't been a full month since their last visit, it's very close to it. And in fact, should be right around this week when Urzuli will show up with a van of donations. Yeah, that doesn't seem like a real possibility because Mama Walde shows up and not in the casual manner of Razuli, not in the welcoming aspect as a person who was unbothered. Walde shows up with a security contingent. Now, everyone who's managed to crash, threaten, trespass, and otherwise make themselves a nuisance at the shelter, outside of police themselves, no one has shown up with a security contingent. Amaldi does. And their corpulent frame, bedecked in the most severe fashion that you've all seen. You've seen them in flowing gowns and large draped moon-like structures and vibrant colors and makeup well done. You've never seen them in a two-piece suit, plain white shirt, very masculine attire, makeup nearly invisible. You can tell they use something, maybe shadow, but it is as plain-faced as you've seen. And instead of their wild lion's mane hair being styled and teased and pulled into a severe ponytail, slicked back almost.
Lucio leans into Hestia and whispers, "So, who is this person?"
Hestia's eyes kind of widen because they recognize them despite all the plainness and non-finery. And it's almost a jaw drop of a moment to see them without all of their normal peacockery. And brow raised, leans back over. Mama Walton? Question mark? I don't know what's wrong, but this is not good. Oh man. And they lead to go greet. And we're gonna do the meeting in a kind of like space in the shelter itself, because they've been here enough, so I mean we wouldn't have to bring them into the haven. They've been in the shelter before. There's like a little meeting room with like some card tables and stuff like that. They're gonna do it there.
There's a walk. I'm sure you've all seen a facsimile of it, or maybe seen a video. There's a hard that ladies and feminine aspected persons typically use when they're preparing to show up and show out. There's a hard flounce to the way that they move. Sashaying of the hips is line to keep the stance wide in case they have to throw a hand or grab or whatever they need to do to ensure that they have been properly prepared to drag. And that's the walk that it takes on. It is not the rolling, attention-getting, flirtatious manner in which they normally. This is clearly, without a shadow of a doubt, a serious person, extraordinarily serious matters. Everyone settled in. Mama Walde's security detail taking a position at their rear, watching the doors, watching the window, and one seating at the table with them to their right. And they thumb their fingers on the table, waiting for everyone to get settled. First off, my mama didn't raise nobody that was. I have to say thank you, but we need to seriously talk about whatever it is that you all are doing. I done heard, and I hope that I'm wrong, but you motherfuckers in the government outlawing what you think that I am doing. Speechless, huh?
Sorry, you're gonna have to be a lot more specific.
A lot more specific. How about this? If you motherfuckers don't get off your ass and make sure that Urzuli can properly host the disco, then it's gonna be hell up in this motherfucker. I can guarantee you that.
We're not attempting to stop them from having a disco. Why would that be something we would have stopped them from doing?
Oh, they's keeping y'all out of it too, huh? Well, Damien and that bitch Alexa have given notice and shut down the disco.
Was there a reason given for why?
Killing that bitch Sylvia. You know why y'all was there. Everything I heard was it was your testimony that made this possible.
Sounds to me like life's hard and you should buy a fucking helmet.
Oh, you want to see my helmet? You gonna see my helmet? That's most assuredly what's gonna happen. Y'all motherfuckers need to make sure that this shit is fixed. Y'all know we ain't never hurt. Nobody didn't want to be hurt in the most pleasurable of manner. Now, y'all need to do something about this, especially when we supposed to have an understanding and a friendship of sorts. This ain't gonna stand. This is not gonna stand. We are not a cult and we have not killed anybody.
I have 5 friends who disagree.
Your friends are lying and truth ain't in them.
There ain't much in them because you motherfuckers killed them.
Did you not hear the words out of my mouth? We have never hurt anyone that did not come to us as part of our worship. I don't know what the hell you going on about, but we have never hurt anybody that was not part of our spirituality. We have been welcoming, open, and providing sustenance for those who wanted to have it.
Okay, hold on. Can we roll it back just a little bit here?
Roll it back. You all are stopping.
Mama Wally, I understand why you're upset. I get it. The thing is, the weapon Shang had was Bahari in make.
I heard about that.
Where did he get it if he didn't get it from you? Or the group, not you specifically. That's what we're trying to figure out. If you had nothing, the Bahari had nothing to do with it, then where did he get a Bahari stake to attack Sylvia with in the first place? Because that's why this all came down on the group, thinking that he was part of it and he harmed somebody he shouldn't have.
I don't want to talk ill of the dead because I know y'all was responsible for his death too. But that boy was always cracked out. Who knows what his little sticky fingers got up to?
So are you saying that you feel like maybe he was planted to cast aspersions on the Bahari? Or, or what? Like, because we need a direction to go in.
I think he's saying that Sheng might have just been an idiot.
Might have been. The boy was hanging out with that damn fool Nash. And you know how despicable he is. He came for the free eats and took more. You know what they say, you give a fool an inch and he'll try to run a mile. Had to throw that motherfucker out myself personally.
Wait, Walter?
Yeah. The party boy.
So Shang and Walter used to hang out.
They used to party, yes. And they would show up to the disco and they would party for more. Them and that damn Ash Peddler from the south, the suburbs.
Ash Peddler.
Oh, really? Y'all supposed to be the police of our kind and y'all don't know about the ash epidemic? Oh, I bet it don't matter until they get down to the succubus. Then y'all will be all over the place.
Diddy's gonna hop off of whatever table she's sitting on and just walk out of the room before she does something rash.
Rash is good. Chaos is a ladder. Give in. Give in to those impulses. Don't restrain them.
Like I said, if I hadn't given Alexa my gun.
A gun is so impersonal. Your target can't feel your pain. The gun.
But it's been hellishly effective.
Yes, but some things you could take your time with. Especially, think about how effective it was against Shane, getting him to say what he knew was not true. Imagine getting the truth out of someone in that same similar manner, locking your hands around them and slowly pulping everything they are as they scream, and the approximation of value to Valkyrie leaping forward, firing her lash and shooting, have the opportunity to escape. And Austin joining the battle far more directly than he believed was in him, fighting so that one, if not all of you all, could manage to leave that situation. How they gave their all, or no way, smiling as he was riddled and staked. All of the many people. Let's not talk about gas.
And this is why she's leaving the room.
Now, most people know not to bark unless they're going to bite. Most dogs, if you open the gate, especially the loud mouth, just bark and bark and bark. If you open the gate or make it possible for whoever and whatever they're barking at to get at them, well, stop barking or they'll run. My Molly is not a small dog and is used to giving in excess of what she receives. And right now, Dizzy retreating is a sign of weakness that triggers that. Unfortunately, bestial aspect of every kindred, there is a victim. That's right, you better take your ass out of here. Grown folks is talking.
And then I go put my fist right through her face with my full strength.
But you still got to go ahead and roll your strength plus brawl.
I'm assuming Lucio's not in a position to stop this.
Everyone is always in a position to stop or to attempt to.
At the same time, though, part of Lucio does want to see this.
So that's 3 with willpower. And I got hungrier from rousing my strength.
Dizzy doesn't move as quickly as you have seen Dizzy move. Even naturally, Dizzy is faster than most people expect. Naturally, Dizzy is graceful and strong and a little accelerated. The turn happens almost instantaneous as the last syllable escapes Mawalde, and Dizzy covers the less than 50 feet in the blink of an eye, her fist driving forward. The amazing aspect of it, Mawalde manages their hands up in front of their face, which is a rarity. Even if you get knocked out by Mike Tyson, the fact that you're able to take the shot still counts for a bit of esteem. You took 2 punches from Mike Tyson in prime. Oh God, how the hell? And that's exactly what filters through everyone's head. As Mama Walde, from a seated position, manages their arms up in front of their face in time to keep from having it obliterated. Even still, with that being the case, there's a sickening crack as Mama Walde flies out of the chair in which they're sitting. Their security team whips their head around, and much like everyone else, trying to decipher what exactly happened. Mama Walde's on the floor. Luckily and unfortunately, they drown, so there's a bit of splatter and a bit of vitae leaking from them in the most blood-like manner, and Dizzy is standing over them. What are you all doing?
Does the security detail look like it's going to attack?
I interpose
Wouldn't much of security
between the two. I literally put myself in front of, staring at Dizzy, but with my back to Mama Walding, and put myself between them so that if the security gets involved, they'll see that I'm trying to de-escalate this and just to pull them apart instead of attacking anybody.
And in case that's not enough, Lucio is going to ready the arms of Ahriman to lock down as many of the security as possible. Not attack, but restrain. If and when they start attacking. So I'll do the round roll now.
Okay.
I do not get hungrier.
You do not. The beast does not respond to your tickling. And it gives you what it needs. Which is to start the shadows of walls moving. There's an undulation to them, as if they are hungry little beasties kept from their prey by a thin veneer clouds. And security, unfortunately, their action is to dogpile. And while Hestia bodily is stronger than she looks, no one knows that by looking at her. The attempt is, one attempts to move her out of the way, the other to corral and restrain Dizzy, and the last attempts to help Mama Walde up off the floor.
So if they're going to actually try and do that, then Lucio's arms are going to try and restrain them.
Excellent.
Do I have to split the roll for this, or am I...
No. You're going to go ahead and just roll your attack with the arms of Airmen to stop these humans from doing something extraordinarily stupid.
It's like a 5.
So the undulating shadows leap from the walls, leap across the floor, begin to encapsulate and restrain the security forces who haven't reached for any weapons yet. To be clear, as part of their training, they were attempting to do so many things at once that immediately fail. And that And the shattered remnants of these forms, you can hear it reknitting. They're laying still, and on their back, their hands in front of their face, their knees bent. It is clear for those of you with any experience in actually wrestling that they've taken a back defense in an attempt to give themselves time to mend their already grievously broken and battered flesh. Now, while all this is happening, and you stand face to face with Hestia, Dizzy, what's going through your mind? What are you attempting to do? One good blow, 5 lives. Seems like someone else is getting the better end of the deal.
Well, I'm not going to try to move through Hestia, but I am going to look down at Mama Walde and say, bark again in our yard, little dog, and see if I don't stomp you into a fucking hole.
Listen here, bitch. Give me a second.
And then I
and
blink.
We're gonna take this.
As soon as she retorts, I blink around Hestia.
You just move closer, move further away from Mama Walde.
No, I move right on top of her.
So as Lucio is holding his security at bay, and Hestia staring down Hestia staring down Dizzy, Dizzy's no longer there. And there is a flare of, I want to say anger, but it's beyond that. It is not the bluish orange flame of a campfire. It is the white hot fury, the distilled essence. And then the beatings begin and shall continue until morale improves as Dizzy begins raining down blow after blow on Mama Walde. What is it that you won't do?
Since this clearly isn't going to resolve peacefully, Lucio is going to drag the security detail down to their feet and restrain them as much as possible. And basically, I want to give Dizzy the chance to vent her frustrations unimpeded, so to speak.
Dizzy, it is clear how Dizzy is. Now here's a question. Does Dizzy rain down hell until she feels better? Or does Dizzy give a shot and wait, give a shot and wait, give a shot and
No, she intends fully to keep good on her promise of you bark again in my yard, little dog, and I'm going to stomp you into a hole.
But if you let them heal, it'll hurt them even more.
Oh, I have no intention of letting them heal. I'm going to end her unless someone stops me.
Oh.
That being the case, we're going to simplify that roll for you. Would you be so kind as to go ahead and mark your strength and melee plus your potence, and each success is a successive blow because there's no way to dodge at this point. And Mama Walde does not have potence.
Strength and melee or strength and brawl?
Strength and
Dizzy,
brawl.
Dizzy,
Okay.
Dizzy. Have you ever heard that the barking dog doesn't fight?
Hestia does the only thing they can think of to do. They like full out sprint and jump on Dizzy's back like a backpack.
Like
and try to ride them to the ground.
a barking dog is only bark. They do not bite.
That's another willpower down, but I only got 2.
And what is Dizzy's potence?
It is 3.
And Dizzy's strength?
Just 1, but she's roused it, so it's effectively 3 right now.
10, that's 5 plus the initial. 2 plus 5 is
Is-
7. 7 and 5 is 12. That's 6. And just double check one small bit of bookkeeping. That does not look good. All right, so I was hoping I was wrong. I was hoping that there was considerably more there, and unfortunately, that is not the case.
Melinda will attempt to stand in front of Dizzy and be like, hey, you know?
No,
I think we're on the ground, so yeah.
Yes, I understand the intent. Unfortunately, it very much is a coward situation. Dizzy riding the mama all day. Now, there was a hope, there was a dream that it wouldn't be yet again a situation that was specifically deadly than it had been intended. However, in this moment, as Hestia throws her arms around Dizzy, moments far too late, and Melinda attempts to confront and provide another image to take Dizzy's eyes and gaze off of the mess that was Mama Longday. Far too late. And Lucio watches as there's a pulping of a person happening so quickly as to make one wonder, had Mama Longday ever been anything more than a stain? Her 5 security officers watching and crying out and tears streaming as the person who, not just because of the damage to their pockets, but they failed to protect someone who they believed in. They failed to protect someone who had trusted their well-being into their hands. And they watched as Mama Walday was cracked open like an overripe watermelon. 2 blows, 2 thunderous blows, leaving echoes rumbling across the floor. And what was Mama Walday is drying and desiccating beneath Dizzy's fury. And there's a portion of Dizzy that knows this is not enough. This is nowhere near enough.
Shit. Lucio looks at the security detail that they have, he has trapped in the shadows, and he looks to the others. Well, now what?
Don't you even give me that, because you grabbed the wrong fucking person, Lucio. You should have grabbed Dizzy, not them.
Oh, so she could become a free target for all of them? Is that what you wanted me to do?
I would have kept that from happening.
How?
Had it under control.
Did you?
Yes.
Because this clearly wasn't under control.
They didn't attack her until...
They were very much about to. They're a security detail. That's what they do.
They grabbed me and moved me. They didn't hurt anybody. Now she's fucking dead, and you know what? We can't cover this shit up this time. She is a major player in fucking Chicago. We're fucked. Thank you.
Well, you know what they say. Where there's a will, there's a way. You all are aware that Arsenio has access to persons who can make things disappear. You all have access to people who can make things disappear. It is a judgment call at this point. How far down this road?
You know, I tried to separate myself from the situation, and she had to fucking run her mouth. Twice.
Clark, no bite.
I think it's a little late for that now.
Be part of this. I'm a fucking hound and regent level Tremere right now. Oh god. They put me in charge of my own section of the Chantry, and now this shit. Fuck. And Hestia just storms off.
Hestia will Melinda will join Hestia.
Wait, what are we doing about these people? Lucio says as Hestia leaves.
I'm a bit hungry. I could eat one or two of them.
She looks back as he asks that. Well, since you had it so fucking figured out in the first place, why don't you figure it out now?
Lucio's gonna drop one in front of Dizzy and the rest. It's probably not a good idea if they leave here alive.
Well, I mean, we could have made them forget, but that person just stomped out of the room.
I mean, I could try my best, but... Well, let's see how it goes. I'm gonna go to one of them and say, forget you saw this.
I mean, that's probably better than killing 5 more dudes, right?
Probably.
So, go ahead and roll charisma plus intimidation plus obtenebration for me.
I was gonna use the dominate power cloud mine. Am I still rolling those, or?
No, use cloud mine. Make it happen.
You said charisma plus.
Oh, for hot back up to. Charisma plus dominate. Each of your successes. Do the damn job.
Charisma plus dominate. Okay. I should not have opened my mouth. My dice pool isn't anywhere near as good for this.
While he's attempting that, I'm going to chomp into one of them, because I went through a lot of blood there beating their boss into pulp, so...
You very well did. And the beast is saying, why stop? There's no reason to stop. There's no way that they can walk out of here in any semblance of a state. And
well, I'm going to attempt to not drain anybody dry outright, but I guess if that's what happens at this point, I mean, how many stains am I carrying now? What's one more?
So go ahead and roll your resolve plus composure. If you get anything less than you drink. If you fail, you drain him without any consideration.
I'm not sure how to interpret that, but technically that's 4.
No, that is very much 4, and your beast relishes in the fact that you maintain such tight control, such a potent grip on it and the world around you. What that means is that while you're feeding, you're able to stop at the 2. Instead of it being the nice, neat puncture wounds, it is a tear. Your teeth have gnawed, and you didn't mean to bite completely down, but that's exactly what happened. And there is a grievous wound leaking down this gentleman's neck as he initially started screaming and attempting to fight, but you held him closer and you gave in just enough to get what you did. And there's a mess. Even licking leave a scar of sorts because you tore flesh. You gave in a little too much to that little voice at the back of your head. That's been right every step of the way.
Well, at this point, I yell fuck and grab him again and finish him off because I can't explain these gaping chew wounds in his neck and I can't fix them either.
God.
A dark night of the soul wasn't exactly what was on the menu, but thank you, Dizzy, for giving us all this grace. These many great ramifications, and that's exactly what goes through their mind as they take the most pragmatic course of action to prevent more fallout from this evening.
Not to break the mood, but I just want to point out that Dizzy might need an intervention.
You fucking think?
We'll get right on that as soon as Dizzy doesn't propel us in the next course of action.
I told her to shut up. I mean, she made her decision. She got what she deserved.
Barking dogs don't bite.
Yeah, I say that's what's a bed mastiff. We'll see.
Unfortunately, the dog they were barking at does.
And as this descent, the slide into the most pragmatic, into the most direct accounting, this attempt, as Hestia and Melinda leave the little space in the shelter, there's a certain privacy that has been given to Miss Green that you are sure will not be given exactly to a member of the staff and a volunteer to the staff. So leaving Lucio and Busy in the prepared space, it won't remain private for very long. But it is used to get away from the bulk of the population. It is used for a multi-purpose room. It is used for a little private moment, even if not completely private. You get a table to yourself, all sorts of things. Anyway, as Hestia and Melinda leave the area, where do they go? What is it that Hestia is running towards?
She's not gonna go far. She just needed to not be looking at them right now because she's entirely disappointed and fairly angry. And this is her baby, her shelter. This person came to them while obnoxious and a little bit out of pocket. They could have been handled better. They entered domain. We kind of had offered them domain to come here tonight and talk about their problems since they live here in our domain. And it shouldn't have gone that way. So Hestia is very much upset right now and very feeling like I do all this to keep us safe. And constantly it's like, fuck it. but they just kind of like, yeah, they don't go far. They step out of the door and they slide down the ground, looking very much like a small child for once, and put their head on their knees and just shake their head like, I don't fucking believe that just happened. One of the oldest fixtures in Chicago is now Jackson Pollock art on my fucking floor. And I have to figure out what to do about it. Lovely.
With everything that Linda's witnessed in the last few days, and watching Hestia have this moment going through their head, do. Okay, so as you sit there, with those thoughts percolating, what is it? Anything that comes to her in regards to.
We have to lie. We've been lying the whole time. Fuck it, what's one more lie? When it burns down, it's gonna burn down hard. But for now, we gotta ride this bitch till the wheels fall off. So, she works her way to her feet and goes back in and puts on her boss pants and
you find Lucio still holding hoary remnants of that other place into this world as he stands in front of one after the other. You will forget this moment, and you can tell that it is somewhat effective, but the moment that he said you will forget this moment and the forgetfulness has already begun, they look past him and see the remnants of Mama Walday and the splattered remnants that are about Dizzy's fists as Dizzy stands over the deceased member of their team leader.
messing with their memory is not gonna fucking take if the thing that they're supposed to not remember is still right there in front of them. You do realize that, right? You have to get rid of the body first, and then I will make sure that they think they didn't bring her here tonight and figure something the fuck out.
Alright, Lucio hands the bunch of them over to Hestia.
So he's going to move beyond Hestia and let them go?
No, he's not going to let them go. He's just going to basically plant them in front of Hestia and say, "You're better at that than I am."
Again, I'm pointing out we need to get rid of or hide the body so that they don't keep looking at it.
Well, if I force them to look away...
Oh, God.
Look, if they're not facing the direction, they're not looking at the body, right?
Whatever, fine, let's make it work.
Fine. You know what? I've made a bad judgment call tonight. I'll follow your lead on this.
No shit, Sherlock. I mean that, truly. Because you're a detective.
Just tell me
Melinda
where the fuck we're taking them.
Melinda will walk them into another room.
And at that point, Lucio will... Actually, that's still a bad idea. Not until they're dealt with.
Dizzy's gonna slide down the wall and just kind of hang her head and bury her face in her hands for a bit.
Melinda specifically wants to take these people, and she wants to find a room that is out of the way. Put them in there.
Lucio's holding them in Nebula's shadow.
Okay. If we can move them someplace, like with no windows, and like make them forget there and lock them there.
No, we're going to let them go, but we're going to cloud their memory. Hestia goes and grabs a tablecloth over from one of the tables and throws it over Mama Walding. Problem solved. For now. And then goes in front of the
What about their team? What about their team leader, who's been fed apart by Dizzy, and is nothing but a slowly exsanguinating human corpse?
Tablecloth's big enough.
Tablecloth.
That too, right?
Second tablecloth.
How many tables we got?
There was 4 tables in here in the first place, so 4 tablecloths. All the tablecloths. So they're plastic lined, so it should be fine. Oh my god. Anyway, so yeah, tablecloths. That's the thing. They cover up the bodies with the tablecloths. Hestia stands in front of them and catches their gaze and attention, and tells them.
Before she does that, Lucio actually goes over to Hestia and whispers, you know, in theory, if we were to claim self-defense, since this is definitively our domain that Mama Walda walked into with an entire security detail, armed, no less, we might be able to at least play that part off. But that would of course mean that they would have to not leave here alive. I'm gonna leave that judgment call to you because clearly tonight my judgment was not as sound as it should be. It's just an idea.
Hestia looks at the faces of the men on the ground. Looks back over behind themselves at the mess. Then back at the men whose faces are probably confused and pitiful.
There's rage. There's rage and fear intermingled equally, because there is the knowledge that what they know to have happened can't be trusted. Lucio was in fact successful at clouding their memory, at erasing the last few moments, and there's a blink of time. There's a movie-esque loss of time, and then coming to realize that there's a missing portion of what they know to be fact, and Mama Walde laying there in their own blood with their teenager at Dizzy's feet, knowing subconsciously that there was some horror they witnessed, combined with the blood that was splattered across Dizzy, dripping from her lip and chin. It is a horrific moment. You don't know that they're monsters, natural, whatever it was that took place, and you know that you didn't stop it. You know that your one mission, your one goal was the one thing you failed at. That's the look on their faces. This anger, the initial shock is gone. But that confused rage, that confused sense of loss and regret is on their face. They know that they failed. Whatever happened, as far as each of them were concerned, was due to their inaction. And that's a horrible weight to carry. Most people always disseminate when that option presents itself. Most people will say that their inaction was because of something else, anything else. The sun was in my eye, I forgot to get gas last night, or the car ahead of me slammed on their brakes, or I didn't see them, they popped out of nowhere. I wasn't doing anything wrong. Yes, but were you doing anything right? That's a truth that most people suffer with. And in the case of men of action, that becomes rage at the injustice of it all. That mental dissonance of them failing, that's an impossibility. I don't fail, I get better. I don't fail, I learn. But yet, very much so, they fail.
Swallowing hard, she looks again at the mess and Lucio and looks him in the eye. Make it quick and painless. I want this to be over.
Alright. I'm
And
sorry.
then we walk
And
away.
Lucio's gonna command the
bodies.
shadows to snap all their necks. That's about as quick as I think he could make it right now.
Like a canary in a mine shaft filled with gas. Their lives are short, individually meaningless. But because of their sacrifice, a way forward itself, a moment of safety and security falls over the minds of the gathered coders. Because yes, this much death could not ever have possibly been anything other than the coterie repelling attackers. The story all but writes itself. You don't have to be a pure winner for that. And it's believable. You know, all are hounds. And you all repelled the attack of a Bahari high priestess.
Bodies. Lucio looks to Hestia and says, I think we know what we can do with them. We do, I think, still have those facilities we used before, right?
You mean the morgue downstairs? Yes, we still have a morgue. We still have an oven. Yeah, we have those things. But before these things happened to me, don't you think we should let somebody know what we just fought off so that the proof doesn't go to waste?
You're right.
Do you want to call Alexa or Damien?
Well, Alexa was the one that came up with the whole Bahari thing in the first place, so I'm sure they would love this whole situation.
Agreed.
Yeah, she would probably be more amenable to what's happened here. In fact, she probably wouldn't mind the truth, but let's not tell her the truth, probably. I mean, you can if you want. It's on me again. I'm the asshole, like always.
Not this time. Can you make the call?
It's under a text. I think she'd think it was weird if I called her.
Alright, go ahead and do that. She likes you most. And then afterwards, I think we need to talk.
So I'll shoot a text to Alexa that says, we have a situation at the shelter. You should probably come over here.
It takes a few minutes, which is a little weird, but it takes a few minutes, and the text comes back. Of course, not far. I want you to meet. Well, I'll introduce. And yeah, she texts as if she's talking. Each time that she's texts you is always if you can actually hear her, because she doesn't text in any semblance of written speech at all. No memes, no abbreviations, full punctuation, including quotation marks.
I will reply that I don't know that this is a mixed company situation, but to use her own discretion.
It doesn't take long. Of course! And as the text exchange draws to a close, with the four of you standing in the carnal, 6 deceased beings on Kindred, and once again in your domain. Is there any conversation you take place before Alexa arrives?
This is starting to look bad.
Diz, do you mind if we talk
Either-
for a moment?
Either we look incompetent, or like we are looking for this.
I mean, say what you gotta say, dude.
Alright. Let me be the first to say that I have no moral high ground to be standing on this discussion. I admit that what happened with Eddie is almost exactly the same as what happened with you and Sylvia. I got enraged, and that got the better of me. I didn't say anything at the time because I knew exactly how you felt, and if I were in your shoes, I would have done the same thing. This time,
I mean, it's a little different, but I get where you're coming from.
and this time it is very different. I stopped the security because I thought that you were just planning to teach her place, looking at the stained corpse the stain on the ground that was Mamualde. I didn't realize you intended to end them.
You know, I didn't intend to end them until they kept running their fucking mouth.
And that's the problem. You went too far, no matter how you look at it.
Considering she was complicit in killing 5 people that I considered my family for over a decade, I don't feel like I went too far. Maybe the timing was bad. It could have been set up better. But this was inevitable. This was going to happen to her eventually, and I was going to do it.
Were they actually responsible? Because I seem to recall that at least one of them was caused by the Wong Kui, and we don't even know what happened to the others. I thought that was for SI.
She runs the disco, right? It was her grounds.
I was under the impression that it was Urzuli who ran the disco. Out of character, is that right?
Urzuli is the absolute head. Mama Wande runs the house, which is the hype. Remember the individual who was giving the speech when you were there in Dalton? That's now on your floor. That being is now emptied out on your floor.
Look, we were all there in Dalton for the disco. We know what happened. It was a fucking mess. But that doesn't mean that they were the ones responsible for it all. I certainly doubt they expected a lupine to show up in the middle of their floor.
Or asshole anarchs to come in and start shooting up the place and fucking firebomb it.
Or for...
There's a whole lot of coincidences that are connected to that night that are just a little too coincidental to be coincidental.
Look, regardless, you don't have the proof that it was them. You went too far this time.
Well, I mean, it doesn't matter now. I did what I did. If you want me to leave, I'll leave.
I don't want you to leave. I want you to be better. I want you to think before you start putting your fists through people's heads again. And I want you to have self-control.
Actually, you know who's really to blame in all this? Really? Simone.
Okay,
Oh, that's
I'll bite.
fucking bull.
How?
Well, there was that night he went to the Succubus Club and attacked the anarchs in the basement, killing a couple of them. Those were from Indianapolis. So as a retaliatory measure, they set up the disco. They saw it as a way to make their presence known and pick us off, take care of some of the leaders of the Camarilla. He attacked them in an Elysium, so they felt justified in taking some of us out. They didn't realize how many would be there, but of course, with it being such a big party, I mean, who's gonna turn down easy pickings? The type of parties Mama Walding and Urzuli throw draw people from all over the place. And while some of it was a little sketch, I will admit that, and some of it was a little weird as far as the whole Bahari thing, which gave me the creeps, but they were just living their lives, kind of like what we try to do, and a fucking domino effect. Simone goes down there, loses his shit, beats up the wrong person. Those people get mad and fucking come and shoot up the disco, and then fucking Sash and who knows else freaking shows up and kidnaps motherfuckers, and then we end up with this situation. So yeah, I'm blaming it on Simone.
Oh, but that's you know what? I'll let you have that. What I won't let you have is blaming that on Simone, and he points towards the stain on the ground. Because, yeah, Dizzy had...
I tried to leave. Did you not see me try to leave?
I did.
I was going to leave so that this didn't happen. And then she had to start shit.
And I saw you punch her, knock her to the ground.
And then she opened her fucking mouth again.
Yeah.
Like, haha, is that all you got? And it wasn't all I got. That was all I got.
And you had the opportunity to hold back. You had the opportunity to at least leave her within an inch of her life. You did not.
Look, I get where you're coming from, and I respect what you're trying to tell me, but do you think that if I'd have stopped there that she would have kept her mouth shut, that she would have been happy with that one retort? Or do you think she would have kept pushing me until I actually lost control and killed her and anyone else that I could get a hold of in this room? I'm not saying this isn't a mess. I'm not saying that any of this is right.
I'm just saying, there is such a thing as a stake. You know, that's kind of one of our whole things. We can be incapacitated. We don't have to fucking die every time.
Have you ever fought a frenzy in Kindred that can move faster than your eye can see and hit you with a car? Do you think it's easy to put a piece of wood in the right spot when that's happening?
Considering how precise you are with your blinks, not that hard. Considering that they were already on the fucking ground, and you have the strength to apparently shatter bones, much less a table, again, probably not that hard.
Oh, I misunderstood you. I thought you were saying that you could have staked me.
No,
and I'm not saying you couldn't have
staked. I'm saying you could have staked her.
Well, I mean, it is what it is now. You can lecture me all you want, Dad, but I still broke the curfew.
My fucking God.
With that sitting in the air, with the many permutations, and unfortunately, here's the situation for everyone. Hestia outlining that it started from the catalyst of Simone put so many dominoes in line. Lucio, who had been running several investigations in the wake of many things that Simone has kicked off. And for Hestia and Dizzy, remembering what it was like to make it to the administrative office at the hospital where Dizzy was kept, and seeing the result, Simone venting himself, and the callous disregard for, it happened. It begins to gel. There was a match struck. That match very much was. And it doesn't help that discount things though Lucio did for the trust of Hestia and for their mental well-being, there's still the very much shadow of what Martin revealed to him, what the hypothesis that Martin had put. And the truth of the matter is, what better way to bring down a house than from within? What better way to strike against the tower if you really a sword king than to become or be forced into or position yourself within the belly of the beast, attacking it from within? No one would expect that. No one from the outside would expect one of the hounds, punishment though it may be, to be actively working against tower. It explains the secrets. It explains the often running off. It explains the creation of a child through purported negligence. According to all the rumors, according to all the myths, the Sword of Cain really hold the same ideas as to right of creation that most tower folks do. And like a collage, spiraling really out of control, there are some things that become incontrovertible looking at them through that vantage point, staring at them from that perception. And with those thoughts percolating, we will take a break, and I understand that Lucio may be bedding down, so we'll pick up shortly after. It is 9 after the hour. We'll be back here at 19 after, and if we don't make it back, Lucio, we do understand. Get some rest, and we'll see you next episode. So see you guys back at 19 after. All right. We have 19 after the hour. Who's all managed to return?
I'm here.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Here.
Well, hello. It is always a pleasure. I'm glad.
I'm also back.
Welcome. So when we stepped away from break, Jizzy and Lucio had a heartfelt conversation about responsibility and choice of action. Cool heads prevailed in a manner, and the heated moment still sits in the air, but there's clear that there's no onus. There's no irrational blame and all of that go with it. There's more a be better situation. Fuck pooch in front of grandma situation. That is until Alexa arrived. And in tow with the petite harbinger of death for every enemy of the tower, plus some that don't realize that she takes her position as hound and scourge incredibly personal and has waged a war of attrition against all of the forces aligned against tower. And to add all the salt in the world to that very real that she is, the walking of mindless vengeance and far too personal investment. Is a gentleman dressed as if he stepped out of or off of a Paris runway. He is roughly 3 inches taller than she. Sunglasses even at this hour of the evening. His hair clearly freshly cut and a light smirk of far too much knowledge, mischief dancing on his face. Hello, everybody. I'm glad to see you. You are all still here. And she takes in the blood and broken necks and limp bodies and the scent of death rising as the bodies do upon meeting the Reaper. The scent of human blood is almost opening, but they're dancing in all of iron, copper tinged scent, that miasma of lost life. There is the scent of kindred vitae, that thick, viscous, almost sweetly spicy scent that signified kindred have met some home. Well, I suppose I should introduce Aluk. This is Aluk Ramos de Leon, a good friend of mine, trusted, very well trusted friend. What is it you would like to tell me?
Izzy will look up with the blood on her hands and face and say, "So, the Barahari had a response."
Oh my goodness! And she runs over and she looks at your hands, she looks at your face, she moves your jaw left and right, making sure that there's no incendiary damage. Oh my god. Tell me it was glorious. Did you personally? Yes! You are such a great asset. Such a great... Aluk, come closer. Look at this. Oh my goodness. This is Dizzy, Aluk, this, she's the one I was telling you. Oh. How do you...
Hey, she'd spoken highly of you to me previously. I'm having a moment, so maybe another time we could talk, but...
Oh no. There's no need to be ashamed of that. These things happen. The only question...
They've been happening to me a lot lately.
We all have our phase where the beast has its way. Isn't it whisper sweet? It's knowing that the juice is as sweet as the squeak. Being able to write it with ourselves. You have to remember, we are no human bound in the same. It's not so much what you do, why you do it. And I'm sure, with everything that Alexa has told you, that you had only the best reasons to do as you don't.
I would like to think so.
Well, the world is a product of our thoughts. And he steps back, looks at Lucio, Hestia, and then looks at the bodies. This will most assuredly require some, but would you all be so kind as to, as the impartial witness here, I'm clearly not a hound, but I most assuredly can speak on your behalf if you allow me.
Zio looks to Hestia and defers to her on this one.
Well, the thing is, she brought 6 armed security guards with her and decided that she would be upset about you and Damien telling them they can't have the disco anymore. We had to do what we had to do. So however you want to resolve that. We were defending our domain.
Oh, I see. So, because of Alexa and Damien's action, as representative of the prince's will and executing their duties as the enforcement of the Imogen's will. This particular person, and who might that have been?
Mama Walding.
Oh, I see. Because of their feelings of the matter in support of the now Gohari cultist decided to attack a house in their own haven. That is a poor look indeed. I'll allow you a moment, Alexa D. I'd love to take a tour around the shelter you all speak. And with that, Luke nods and moves back out of the room. Alexa smiles nearly from ear to ear. Isn't he so great, so calming, so understanding? Not gone, as they say, whole pig and ham. Anyway, it's the reason why I have not perhaps taken my own personal issues out so much. There's so many people are wrong on so many levels, so many kindred who decide that they are above not only the ladder of the law, the spirit of it. And it is grating on my nerves. And it's... why would anyone in their right mind have vanity with... Anyway, all the same, so you all destroyed Mama Walde. This is a good thing. That means Azuli will not have their strong right hand. They still have ads, but I'm working on taking steps to ensure that he does not flout our decisions. So you all defended yourself. We have this that will speak to that matter as well. Now the question is, what are you all going to do to clean this up? You have so many humans out. They not hear the screaming or the running and crying and the begging for life, like, please kill me, please don't kill me.
It was quick.
Oh, my friend, you must learn to take your time in the moments. They arrive so... Since Shing's confession, I've only managed to track down 4 Thin Bloods. That is nowhere near my... It is as if they are taking flight and hiding in better... But the time will come again. So, Dizzy, you were the person who did this. Is there something that Mama Walde said, perhaps? Maybe, like, the Camarilla means nothing. Perhaps that the hounds and the Primogen were useless. They said these things, right? Of course, right?
They did say that nothing was going to stop them from resuming the disco.
Yes, this is all very good. Very, very good. You guys have done such a great thing for Shing and Mama Walde. And of course, Sylvia was collateral damage, but I don't believe the spirits in me. That's all the wives' tales. And Luke tells me that most of the spirits that people believe are spirits are the emanations of the emotions of the people who inhabited the area. And I like this much better than the idea that they're the worlds or a multi-galaxy spanning number of dimensions that lay top of. Anyway, cleaning. Are you going to utilize your furnace again?
We thought that would be the most pertinent and easy method of disposal, but we wanted to make sure that we were covered before we did anything further.
Oh, you're very much covered. I thank you for taking the steps necessary to have an inviolable witness both myself and Aluki, he's very high standing on Moses, which is a very good thing for us. And we do need perhaps some, because after all, with no offense, Hestia, but with the most powerful Tremere among the Midwest was part of the engine, may ask for so do you know how to preserve a bit of kindred flesh so that he can get a feature as?
Is that something she would know? Or something she's heard of?
It's something that she may have heard of. It's similar to the secret art preserving kindred vitae efficacy, but it's still one of those things that is most part of a wives' tale.
Is that something, the preserving vitae part, is that something Lucio would know with his connection to the circulatory system?
He would know someone. He know he could reach out to them. Could hear some of the vitae. Of course, kindred vitae is pretty expensive. Just that a serving size of kindred vitae would set Lucio with resources for over, and that's just a singular serving size. Taste.
But what if he were to... just to make sure I understand the situation, we're asking for some way to preserve Mamuwalda's body, right?
Just a portion of it.
If I were to try and bring or ask one of those people to come in to preserve that, how much would that set Lucio back?
Based on negotiations, a standard negotiation is we need this much, you can keep the rest. A singular taste of serving size, kindred vitae resources to keep its purveyor and funds for you literally will be able to avoid your lifestyle. All expenses for
Lucio's gonna... I'm assuming Lucio's in the same room with Hestia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Lucio's gonna whisper to Hestia, I may know someone who's able to help us with preserving it. Just let me know if that's what you want. Did anyone hear me there or no?
Yeah, I heard you.
Okay.
Yep. She may be experiencing technical difficulties. Their mic is still muted.
Yeah, it disconnected again. What did I miss?
I was saying that Lucio was gonna whisper to Hestia that he knew someone who might be able to help with preserving the Mamuwalda's body, or at least enough of it that's needed, but just let him know if that's what she wants. If that's what Hestia wants to do.
If we need to preserve this, then we'll do what we need to, or whoever we need to contact, because it's a little beyond what I can do. I'm more ley lines and other stuff.
And Lucio's gonna turn to Alexa and just ask, just to clarify, what exactly will we need to preserve the body for?
Just a portion, I believe. I did witness Gustavo track nearly an entire family line based off an eyeball. So perhaps something about that size.
So you're gonna use it to track down more of the Bahari, is that right?
No, but he'll be able to get a reading of to how expensive family. I understand the aggression and violence that took place here, and know that your story is 100% valid. Because no offense, Hessia, and Kraus, right? Yes. Anyway, but the Tremere, one of the many reasons why we were appreciating them not having a table when the old Tremere Primogen held their seat. Each of the cases that were handled by Bob, if they were Primogen, had to be inspected by me. Very aiming, very passive aggressive, and always checking, scanning all into the past. And I would rather not have to back down that path, because anytime they were not able to, there was a stink raid. They are appeased.
Alexa, as long as we've known each other, you would think that you would know me better than that. And second of all, anytime somebody says no offense and then they continue talking, it normally means that they mean offense, but they don't want you to get offended, so they say no offense. You said no offense a lot tonight.
Oh no, I really don't want you to take offense. I really mean no offense. However, what I say is very offensive, because it is very offensive to classify an entire species of people based off of what one person has done. I understand you're not a monolith, but the apple does not fall from the tree. Gustavo was Nikolai's, and I don't know about you, but as much as I try not to be like my sire, there are moments sitting alone, and the voices are loud, and details of where I am are rarely where I am. Then I can hear her voice. I go, but so you see, I understand that as much as Solomon Lamont not anal as Nikolai, that it is a very good chance that may come on him at any moment.
Right, so I'm gonna make that call. And Lucio's gonna step out of the room before Hestia and Alexa start throwing hands.
Nah, Hestia would never take a swing. She'd just exsanguinate her from across the room or something. Never get close.
But yes. And then she crouches back down to Dizzy. This is from, yeah, pointing to the blood on her fingers.
Yeah, I think the stuff on my hands is from her.
And don't be weirded out, but may I? And she reaches towards Dizzy's hand.
I guess, and I'm only going to be weirded out if I feel something about it, I guess.
Oh, excellent. And she takes one of Dizzy's fingers too. And licks that pinky finger. Kindred Vitae is still Kindred Vitae. Wow, there hasn't been a blood hunt since Prince Jackson was in office. There is nothing like the taste of Kindred Vitae. Oh, Mamalonde was. Why didn't she? Oh, it's weird. There's some of the emotion. There's some leanings of the social. Mental? No. Strength? No strength. There's something else there. Something potent. It's still flavorful. It's a shame. It's almost as if they were. Anyway, thank you so very much. Don't waste that. That would not do. Waste not, want not, waste not. And she stands up, wiping her mouth.
I'm sure the look on Hestia's face is very much, huh? No judgment, but just huh?
It is very clear that Alexa has given herself being completely kindred. The normal boundary, even for a lot of kindred, she does not hold. There are a few that she holds above else. And while she's loyal to the tower, she's not necessarily a wilting flower. She doesn't back away from the very real factor that she is deceased. Mortal inhibition, such don't apply. If you all were people she was attempting to mentally harm with your own hang-ups, she more than likely would face the mess that was formerly Mama Wild. But it's clear that she's on better behavior, accepting your biases, boundaries. It doesn't take long for Lucia. Surprisingly not usual. And that's the message that's communicated from Sephola. Because at this late in the season, they normally have a hard time keeping up with. They are sitting on an overflow, a surplus, which never happens. But yes, I will have someone down post haste, and they will help you, provided we are able to keep a.
I'm sorry, you broke up a little bit at the end. Can you repeat that last part?
Provided we are able to keep a portion of.
Yes, absolutely. If the portion is all you require, then absolutely. That seems agreeable.
It's just 46 after the hour, but we don't want to overtax anyone when everyone expresses power. So with agents of the Blood Czar of Chicago and much of the Midwest for the blood trade on the way, with Alexa politely lecturing us to the behavior they have and displaying a fuck all care, ingesting the very sweet and very pleasurable consumption of kindred, and the fact that in less than a month, weeks, and just under a fortnight, not once but twice, the coterie has framed or altered evidence to suit their own ends. And that thought, more than anything else, more than the wanton deaths, weighs heaviest on their minds. That pragmatic adherence to do what best suits them. I want to thank you all for a lovely episode. And now you guys prompts. Thanks, guys. Good night.
Thank you very much. Have a good night, everyone.
Sorry. Have a good night.
Don't be. It was a great session.
We'll save her somehow.
One way or another. Alright, good night, everyone.
Night, guys.